Very interesting travel matchup here. And one thing I've been fascinated by with the new college football landscape is these new conference realignments just lead to some crazy travel situations. We see a lot of these ACC teams like Cal going to the East Coast this season, but now some of these Big Ten teams are going to have to travel coast to coast, and Penn State is doing that here in this situation. Now, it always catches my eye when a team is playing their first road game of the season late, like 5-6 games into October. Technically, that doesn't apply here because, of course, Penn State already had one road game this season against West Virginia. But this is the first real true road trip, obviously, and it is a cross-country trip. And after being at home now for over a month straight, that West Virginia game, by the way, was August 31st, a short little trip for them. They've been home for 4 straight games the entire month of September into October, haven't traveled at all in over a month and a half. So I do think the travel situation is real here, and the fact that the coach is complaining about it kind of tells you that as well. I run 10,000 simulations for every FBS game every week, and I get an average victory margin, and it's really a good starting point for games I want to kind of make my short list. And this one does qualify here. In fact, my 10,000 game simulation on average has it as a pick'em, has Penn State winning by 0.2. So it's a toss-up. It's a tie game. There is line value with USC at +5. I like the scheduling situation as well. So the question becomes, is USC a team we can trust? I think it is. I know they're coming off a disappointing loss against Minnesota. It's their second loss in 3 games. Devastating loss probably for their national title hopes, to say the least. That is normally a letdown concern. But the fact that they're bringing in the number 4 team in the nation, Penn State here, I think they come focused. We saw the Washington Huskies in a very focused spot last week. I used that as a best bet for my clients as part of a 3-0 sweep last Saturday. By the way, college football has been just crushing it this year, ranked number 1 this season in college football. It's just been a fantastic run. And the simulation works well when we get line value and we get the situational analysis to back it up. It's a game that's worth considering. I think that all works here. Always a concern with the USC defense. This is a defense that was atrocious last year, but then they looked pretty good, obviously, in that opener against LSU. I still think they're maybe average at best this year, but the offense is explosive. They're averaging over 5 yards a carry, almost 7 yards a pass. Now, their passing attack has not been as good as in years past, but the running game is pretty solid. And I do think they can somewhat control the clock. And the other thing I want to point out about Penn State and Franklin and company is that they have a tendency to be bullies. They beat up on the weaker teams, cover big as favorites, but sometimes not as good when stepping up in class. And I do think this is a step up in class. I know they're technically a favorite here, but I make the game a pick'em and the scheduling spot on top of that. Take a look at USC +5. I think there's some value with them, and they're a live dog on this Saturday afternoon.
So I want to ask you this. I'm interested in the total in this game. And so far, we've seen pretty much every sharp dollar come on the over. We saw 48, 48.5 at the open. There were a couple 49s. Now I'm seeing 50.5 and 51s. And those are the leading indicator books, which tells us that the sharp money has clearly come for the over in this game. You agree with that assessment or disagree?
Yeah, Ted, there's no question the sharp money's on the over. I'm glad you pointed that out. It's moved up, and it's crossing that key number of 51 almost. So for people out there who don't know key number in totals, we talk 37, 41, and 51 would be the 3 that come to mind. I do agree with the move. As I mentioned earlier, I'm not sold on that USC defense still, but I think the offense is pretty good. And keep in mind, last year, USC was just a pure overplay for most of the season for that reason. And also, this is a step up in class for the Penn State defense. Overall this season, they've given up just 4 yards per play, just 11 points a game, but they haven't faced an offense like USC. And I think that's another reason we've seen some money coming on the over. I mean, they've so far faced Bowling Green, Kent State, Illinois, and then UCLA last week. I mean, UCLA is really struggling offensively as well. So I do like the step up in class. That's one of the reasons I like USC, and I definitely would not disagree with the over. So it's a great time of the year to be an all-sports client at wagertalk.com. This is the only time of the year over the next couple of weeks where you can get every sport going at once, baseball, football, and basketball, because basketball, the NBA starts in 2 weeks. I'm number 1, not only the last 3 years combined, but in the history of Wager Talk in Units 1 in the NBA. College hoops was number 1 a couple years ago. That's right around the corner. And, of course, the last 2 seasons entering this year, I was number 1 in college and pro football, ATS Units 1, and got off to a number 1 start a couple weeks ago. I think we're number 2 right now. And that's because we lost 2 games on Sunday on the final play. Otherwise, we would have had a 6-0 sweep last weekend. Baseball regular season finished on a 31-13 run, and we're started off right here at MLB postseason as well. Great time to be an All Sports All Access member. And right now, when you buy a 30-day package, you can add a second 30-day package for just $99. There is no promo code needed. check that out right now on my page, Steve Merrill, wagertalk.com. And while you're there, check out the daily free plays, the best bets as well. And you can figure out other packages that might work for you. But once again, that buy 30, get another 30 for $99 is a great offer because it's all sports, all access. And this is the only time that you can get football, baseball, and basketball all at one time. Steve Merrill, wagertalk.com. Get there quicker with that promo code, or that shortcut code, rather, WT.buzz/SM. And just a reminder, I read the comments, I reply back. I love the support here on Wager Talk TV. Let's keep it going this weekend. Thumbs up, like, hit subscribe, and hit that bell for instant alerts so you'll know when my college football top 25 video and NFL Fade the Public videos are ready this weekend as well.